Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Welcome to the Flicksation Podcast 2020 Election Special. Tonight we'll be discussing BORAT Subsequent Movie Film.
There's a virus?
Yes. They're wanting everybody to quarantine.
I do not have nowhere else to go. Could I stay in your home?
Hey everybody, what's happening? Welcome to the Flicksation Podcast. My name Eric Madsen. I'm here at Flicksation Studios, P City, Wisco, hanging out with none other than Chad Colt, back for some hot film talk action. Chad, welcome back on the air, man.
I just love being back. I can't wait to Flicksate with y'all. I believe this is the second episode now that I've done with Quintin. Our first one was what, Bit, right? The Bit episode. And,
yes, it was. Yep.
I'm ready. I'm ready to talk some BORAT.
All right, and Quintin Kleinschmidt back for the third time here. Quintin, always glad to have you. And I believe this is the first time we have you back, unless something's changed. You're back in the great, well, I won't say great, but you're back in Wisco.
Yeah.
The once great state of Wisco.
Yeah. Just I moved back in late July for good. Got out of the military and just living my best life, I suppose. Watching movies.
Thank you for your service.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
My pleasure.
All right, so yeah, Chad mentioned it here before, but we are talking BORAT's subsequent movie film here this evening that you can pick up over on Amazon. You probably have Prime if you listen to this. It is free with Prime. If you don't, I don't know, you can probably rent it too. But, the second effort from Sacha Baron Cohen and the Borat character here tonight on the program. So I guess we'll throw it around the room quick just to get your vibe on just the first Borat. I know it's been a while now, but Chad, were you a fan of the original film? And
I was a fan of the original film. It cracked me up. I remember laughing at it. There's still quotes rolling around in my head that I can, anything from, does it come with pussy magnet? The first one had me rolling on the floor laughing, and I just thought it was hilarious. I've always been a Sacha Baron Cohen fan. I'll get more into that later, probably. But so yeah, I was excited to see that there was a Borat 2. But yeah.
So I'm not too far off. I wouldn't say I was kind of late to the party, I will say, with Sacha Baron Cohen. I was current with Borat. I hadn't really seen any of the Ali G stuff or the stuff that kind of led up to that. But yeah, Borat really delivered for me. Saw it in the theater. Thought it was pretty hilarious. I caught up with it again just for the sake of talking on this show. And I guess the only thing that kind of slipped my mind was I completely forgot all the Pam Anderson stuff from the first one. But still pretty much holds up. Makes you very uncomfortable thinking about how stupid people are in this country or whatever. But interesting. Quintin, how about you on the first film? What were you, like 4 years old when it came out?
Yeah, so I was 11 when the first one came out. So when I first saw it, I was a freshman in high school. I might have been in junior high. But I remember in 2006, the culture of Borat was literally inescapable. It was everywhere. People were dressing up as Borat for Halloween. They were walking around saying very nice, just like
very nice.
Just like everyone. It was inescapable, and like I think I saw the movie when Bruno came out, so I was on the Sacha Baron Cohen kick because I I familiarized myself with Dolly G show, and I truly think that the first Borat is like one of the funniest movies that I've ever seen in my entire life. And it's so smart, it's so satirical. If you're a racist, you love the movie because you think the movie's racist. And if you're not racist, you laugh at the fact that people actually think the movie's like. It's just like it doesn't. It's not like too smart for it, like everybody, but yeah, I love the first movie quite a bit. It's one of my favorites for sure.
As far as subsequent movie film goes, won't go too long here. At least I won't before kicking it to you guys. But I did enjoy it. Was it funny? Yes. It has a different vibe. It feels more like a film
Serious
to me.
Like, yeah.
Well, it seems more like a film. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on with the other people involved. I don't know if they're in on it. Maria Baklova, that plays Borat's daughter in this, is pretty fun for sure. I think she really goes for it here. She's got like a short list of credits, nothing that I recognize, and I don't really know her from anything, but it's kind of like The Dictator meets Borat to me, where you can tell there's some interaction with people that probably don't know what's going on, and a couple of times it really feels like the old Borat. I feel like some of these characters are sort of in on it, but not quite. Overall, it was fairly funny. And not that I needed a movie to tell me this, but how about that Rudy Giuliani, guys? What a scumbag, huh? What a goddamn sleazeball this guy is. He was just tucking in his shirt, he says, in real life. So,
yeah, except spell that with an F.
Yeah. So, initial thoughts on this one, Quintin. How did subsequent movie film work for you?
Eric, you mentioned it, and I'm so glad you did. How it felt like a little forced, certainly more scripted than the first. Like the first one feels like it's people caught in the act, and it's like Sacha Baron Cohen, like improvising to make people say these things, and they're not like lines that are given to them. But in this movie, I want to say with certain things in particular, like the babysitter, I know you guys know who I'm talking about, and like those like characters, it feels like those were scenes that were sort of like manufactured to move this storyline along, because like the first movie is pretty cut and dry as to what it is, but this storyline is so obviously like a father-daughter bonding movie, and like the daughter growing up and all of this thing. So there has to be a little bit more substance there, and I think some of the
and Borat is literally a victim of his own fame. You can't really, and they touch on that a little bit in the beginning of the film, but you can't really expect you're going to get the same thing because just too many people know who he is.
Yeah. And that's why it was good they bought the girl in, because she did a great job like staying in character like throughout that entire deal. Like everything we see, she's always in character and she never breaks it. And that's one of the things I'm really impressed about with this, actually. So
yeah, I think like the few genuine times that I was like, and ironically, it was when like Eric had mentioned, the Borat character, like being in some sort of other like costume or like disguise or whatever, like the debutante ball. I felt like that was probably like a genuine scene, and I would say besides the Rudy Giuliani thing, obviously, the most shocking part of the movie.
Yeah, those are the exact two scenes to me that feel, or the exact two sequences that feel like old Borat, because Rudy has no fucking clue what's going on. I mean, he has no clue anyway, but
And
And
then I think you got to bring up the when they go to the doctor to get the baby removed.
Right, yeah, that was my other, yeah.
That guy was like floored, dumbfounded. That's not what we do here.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter how we got to here. Like, he doesn't want to hear. He's like, no. It doesn't matter how we got to here. We're here. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, like it just, like, the movie had, like, in some parts, significantly less than the first movie did, had me laughing quite a bit, but it just, I don't know, like, I liked the movie enough, and I thought it had more heart than the first one, but I don't know if that was necessarily what I was looking for, and it almost feels like this movie was maybe unwarranted. I don't know. I don't want to, like, sound too harsh on the movie, because I don't think that would be fair, because I really, it's not a bad movie at all in comparison to the other stuff that he's done. And I know Sacha Baron Cohen did that show on Showtime or HBO.
yeah, that HBO show was good. Yeah.
I don't think I saw all of it, but
Yeah, and like, that feels more like real than this movie did.
led up to it a little earlier that I'm a Sacha Baron Cohen fan. I have been for years, and here's how it started. Like, I went to England years ago, probably would have been 1999, going on to 2000, because I was there for the New Year. And one of the movies that I went and saw, when I went to the movie theater once, and I saw Ali G in the house at a movie theater somewhere in England. I couldn't tell you where, but it was just a phenomenal experience. Just somebody who likes to go to movies and being in another country, going to a movie, and I'll always remember going to get popcorn. And maybe I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. And when I get up there to order the popcorn, they ask me if I want it salty or sweet. And I'm like, what the hell? I've never been asked this question before. Salt or butter, of course, sure. But salty or sweet? So of course I go sweet, because I'm like, I've never done that. Let's go sweet. I was thinking, like, it had to be some sort of
I
like
would just
caramel,
think kettle corn.
caramel or kettle corn. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Nope, it's literally they put sugar on it. That's it.
Oh, weird.
So it was like non-buttered popcorn with sugar. It was the weirdest thing. I mean, it was fine. I ate it, but, like, I'll go salty from here on out. But that is a movie that I can rewatch, and it's not his character Ali G was a guy who did interviews, just like a lot of his other things. He would go into character as into character as Ali G and do interviews and basically get people to do what he does, but it's an actual movie, and I enjoyed it. I want to say, like, I don't know if it did really well or not, but I loved it, and so that's how I kind of became a fan of his, knowing his work. So I've watched things for years that he comes out with, and this is Borat 2 is probably one of the more, I don't know, disappointing ones. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. There are parts that were nice and funny that made me laugh, but it wasn't laugh out loud as funny as the original Borat. And maybe that's just because I've grown. Maybe I'm just older and I'm a bit more cantankerous, and I just don't find some things funny that I did, whenever the original Borat came out. Yeah, you hit on a lot of the scenes that I was already thinking about. One of my other favorites is just the two redneck guys that he gets to take them to the little rally thing, and he gets up there and does this thing. Those guys are just.
So I was going to ask about these guys specifically. What do you think these guys are for real? I mean, I don't know. It threw me off, because I don't see how you can, quote unquote, quarantine with a couple of guys for X number of days with multiple camera shots and them not know at least something weird is going on here.
It'd be interesting if there was like a behind the scenes look where Sacha Baron Cohen was telling how they did things, but maybe that'd probably give out the secret.
Yeah, I don't know. That was like a really big question mark for me. Was how, because that that was really mixed. Like they were making comments about like politics that felt
Very
not as,
genuine.
like, yeah, very genuine. But then there were like other things where like specifically they're talking to his daughter at that Trump rally, lockdown rally or whatever it was,
or just them in the crowd at watching him on stage. That all seemed very fake to me.
I can see that. Yeah,
it was so weird. It was like tonally like this giant, like just so wavy, and it was so hard to pinpoint like what was off the cuff stuff. I had problems with this movie, I'm not gonna lie, with just figuring out like where the genuine like improv was coming from, so to speak, or scripted stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't like the African American woman too was 50-50 for me. Like half the time it felt like, oh well, this is bullshit. And then the other half it kind of seemed like, well, okay. But how would she, again, she's driving her car talking to the co-star and there's multiple cameras in her car. And does she just not know that they put 4 cameras in her car?
Yeah.
It seems
how
weird.
did they do that? Or is there a spin that they do that they're doing like like is it like the documentary that I don't know. How do they? It feels like there's got to be a hook in the way that they get them. You know what I'm saying?
Guess it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things because was it entertaining? Was it funny? Yes, I would say. I guess ultimately I come down on this is almost being just a here. You might want to vote out the Republicans, guys, here as we release this movie 2.5 weeks before the election. Maybe when they got the footage they said, okay, let's do this with it or whatever. I still was entertained. It's, I have the Prime service, so I like that this pops up on my feed one day and I can watch it and it's entertaining.
Yeah, it was entertaining. I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy it. It's just of a lot of the things I've seen by him, it's not my favorite.
I'll just say, quote unquote, the moon dance was probably the hardest I've laughed watching a movie this year. And it's almost the end of the year, so almost the end of a really weird film year, I guess we'll say, but that was funny.
It'd have been nice to have been able to see it in a movie theater and maybe get a Taco Bell cup.
True. Borat definitely was an experience film in the theater with a bunch of people. So, I did think the initial 10-15 minutes of the film were really well done. I mean, that's all going to be just straight up film because, especially when he's in Kazakhstan or whatever, that's all going to be fake anyway. But pretty much every point they hit in that was pretty funny and really clever. And the U.S. had been taken over by an evil, terrible guy, Barack Obama. It's like, oh my God, this is hilarious. The way and his prison sentence and all that other stuff. I just thought the first 10 minutes or so was brilliantly done. So, and the state of his old producer, guys, who was also a funny bit. Yeah. I was hoping he was in there, and I guess he sort of was.
Yeah, kind of. You know what this felt like? And this comparison is probably going to be made. Jackass made that Bad Grandpa movie.
I thought about that maybe 5 times while watching this film.
Yeah. I mean, it was just like it was a movie like with a character, because like people watch the Jackass movies and remember that like Irvin or whatever Johnny Knoxville's old guy character was, and they were like, oh, really recognizable character, let's make a feature film. And like Borat's already existed that way, but that movie was like this road trip with his grandkid or whatever, and that sort of is what this movie really felt like, with gags sprinkled in here and there, but everything coming together in the end, and Borat not looking like this like asshole that he usually is, like completely clueless guy. But I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed it, and like Eric said, that the first 10 to 15 minutes. I mean, aside from the other shocking moments were the best parts of this movie, and it's free. That's the most important thing I think that we should stress is if you have a Prime membership, you can just watch this and enjoy a middle of the week if you want, or a weekend.
Yeah, and probably good for this because then you get probably the luxury of more people seeing it before the election, as well as I don't think this one would have had much for legs if people were paying to see it. It has a direct-to-DVD feel, for sure.
Yeah, what year did the original Borat come out then?
2006, right?
Yep.
Yeah, sounds about right. Interesting. He waits this long, 14 years or so, and then does a sequel. I mean, good for him. I mean, he's. I think he's a phenomenal actor. Whether it's doing a bit like Borat or even his part in Hugo, which is a movie I loved when it came out, as a train conductor. He just does a phenomenal job of getting in the character and being the character, And part of that comes from when he does a role like Borat, I'm sure he gets into character and doesn't break character. He just keeps going, That
was that improv thing from the first Borat that made that movie so good. Was like he was just feeding off what other people were saying. That's what made that so good. I just can't imagine in 2020 getting trolled by Borat. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Yeah. Even what kind of rock you've been hiding under,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. He's also I believe he was also rumored to he was going to possibly be Freddie Mercury in the Queen movie before Rami Malek, if I remember correctly, or something went on, or maybe it was a different version of the movie or something. I mean, very glad that Rami did it, however you say his name, but I would have loved to have seen what Sacha Baron Cohen can do with a role like that. Yeah. I just want to see him in a regular role like that, playing some larger than life character like a Freddie Mercury or something. And I look at him and I think, yeah, they could really make him look like Freddie Mercury, like almost more than they did Malik. But Malik knocked it out of the park with that. So no complaints.
We talked about that specific situation on the show when we talked about that film or whatever, or Quick fixed it, but yeah, Cohen left that film because of creative differences. He thought it was way too much of a fluff piece. He wanted to show the more like down
grittier
and
side.
Dirty side of Freddie Mercury, and the band wasn't having any of it, so he just said, "Okay, I'm out of here." So,
I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the movie turned out to be, was a fluff piece.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
yeah.
Most people other than the band said, yeah, Freddie Mercury was an asshole, not that guy.
I was going to say, he's a dick. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty straight up. Even though the movie's a fluff piece, I think Malik does a good job of like getting that point across a little bit, but it could have gone, they could have delved way further into it, and I'm guessing that's what he wanted. That's what Sasha would have wanted, so.
But yeah, I'm with you, Chad. His overall body of work is impressive, and I mean, it takes us. You got to be very good to do this kind of thing that he does.
Yeah, absolutely.
I sure as hell would not be able to do this stuff. So
to do it and say every single line that he says with a straight face and just keep going.
Yeah, So yeah, what did you guys think of Maria Baklova? Because again, you need a specific personality. Again, it's hard to say because you don't know again what's real and what's not here. But the Giuliani thing was definitely real. So she pulled that off pretty well.
Yeah, I thought she was phenomenal. She, in some respects, is the new Borat of the film. Borat is so well known, like we've talked about, it's very hard for him to walk around America is as Borat. That's why they had to have him jump into 10 different costumes, to make it really make it a Borat film. But she's the new Borat of the film in a way, and she does a great job. I can't wait to see what else she does.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely the new, because at the end when everything comes full circle and they're, together or whatever, doing spoilers, doing the news together. It's it's so clearly this come full circle thing, because there's all these jokes about how the daughters in Kazakhstan are not important and whatever other racist stereotypes that were hinted at in the first movie. But I just, that goddamn Giuliani scene, I cannot get past it. It was so cringy, but it was so good. Hard to watch. Because Giuliani.
How did they film it? How were they filming it? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he probably just thought he was on another news interview, and that he's done a million times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about the bed scene and whatnot. How did they get that?
Well, do you remember in Bruno where he takes Ron Paul into the bedroom?
Yeah.
That's, I mean, it seemed like that because it was hidden cameras, and she's clearly an attractive girl. I don't think she's actually 15, but
24 she is, by the way.
Yeah.
Because Giuliani is that kind of person, I suppose. I knew that Giuliani scene was real when Cohen barged into the room. And Giuliani was he was being really awkward and about it. I was like, man, that I mean, that part is the part that obviously stands out the most and made headlines and stuff like that. But yeah, I thought she was great. She did more than I think anyone was expecting from a side character in a Borat movie.
Yeah, because your side character in the first one was the fat guy. So.
Yeah.
A lot of full frontal peen in this one, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot more. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So if that's what you're into, check out BORAT Subsequent Movie Film. Yeah, so who knows? I don't think we'll see another Borat film at this point, but yeah, I'm always happy to give Sasha's work a shot. It's
yeah.
Okay, yeah, so that's the worst thing about the Giuliani part is it's just so cringy. Okay, so yeah, he doesn't know what's going on and that there's hidden cameras everywhere, but he's still at a news interview where there's probably cameras rolling. Disconnected from the stuff in the bedroom. He doesn't think there's cameras in there, but the way he's hitting on her kind of and touching her leg and this just really horrible grin he gets.
Yeah.
It's
so gross, man. And there's cameras there, dude. You just don't fucking care. It's
shit made my skin crawl, man. It was just so hard to watch.
He just makes my skin crawl in general, so.
God.
I don't know. If you're giving this a letterboxed rating, Chad, what do you, out of 5 stars, what do you say?
1 to 5, huh?
Yeah, 1 to 5, and you can do halves.
I'm gonna do about I gotta go 3 probably.
Okay, well that's pretty good. So
I almost did a 3.5. Well, okay, so 3 is pretty good.
For something like this, yeah, I don't.
That would have been our old school 6.
That would be in a 6, yeah.
I gave it a 3.5 on Letterboxd. So.
Oh, really? Okay, you liked it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm between a 2.5 and a 3. I guess I'll give it a 3 because it was pretty funny, I think. But I don't think I'd probably rewatch it, and my guess is it would probably go down with a rewatch. So take a 3 with a grain of salt. But hey,
Yeah,
if you got
my
Prime,
grain of salt
yeah.
too.
If you got Prime, no reason you can't check it out. It's actually less cringy overall than the first one. So if the first one made you really uncomfortable, I don't think this one, at least until the Giuliani stuff, which is at the end.
Can you go quarter of a rating?
No. It's basically our same system from before, except it's 5 instead of 10.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Better and
All right. Fair enough. So, yeah, thanks, guys, for joining me to talk some Borat. Chad, I think I'm at like 12 films for 2020.
Really? That's wow. Wow. That's like you saw more like pre-Flicksation, than that.
Yeah. Average the last couple of years has been 70 or so a year, new films. Yeah, it's weird.
So
All
to
right.
make it official, I actually went on to Letterboxd and gave it my 3 rating.
Oh, all right. So that's the 4th film you rated on? No.
Now I've got a decent amount on there, but a lot of them are old. I don't there's a lot of new movies.
You actually got your ratings to migrate over, didn't you?
Yeah, I migrated everything from the Flicksation days because I used to keep a track of it on a spreadsheet. So I figured out a way to migrate it.
All right. So, Chad, since we're talking about it, what's your handle on Letterboxd so the folks can track you down
goodness.
there?
That's a good question. Is it the same thing as is it the same thing as your Flicksation? Or not Flicksation, as Twitter? Because I really don't know. That's a good question.
It is, yeah. It is.
Yeah. So it's at Pratial, Pratial.
All right,
So.
yeah. I'm not the greatest at keeping up on Letterboxd, but eventually I get caught up because I use that for my end of the year lists and stuff. So might be a week or two behind on some stuff, but you can follow me at Hazer75. Quintin, are you on Letterboxd?
I am. You can follow me at SchmittyBoy25, SchMidty Boy 25.
Fantastic. You can also contact the show anytime via email, FlicksationPodcast@gmail.com, or call or text the voicemail line anytime 24/7. That's 608-535-9302. You can talk to Chad on the voicemail line, as Chad is kind of the official keeper of the voicemail line. Not keeping you very busy ever, has it, Chad?
No, not really. Should figure out something new to do with it someday, maybe.
Yeah, but anyway, call or text. You can even text it. It's very easy, guys. Call or text the voicemail line. Follow me on Twitter, Hazer75. Thanks, Chad, for joining us as always. If nothing else, we got Flixmas coming up in about a month, so you'll be on the show here pretty soon.
Still waiting to see what I'm going to be gifted. I always look forward to Flixmas. It's the most wonderful time of the year. And, I did take a quick look, and I've actually got 291 films rated on the old Letterboxd. So it's actually better than I even thought it was. So
yeah.
There's probably another few hundred that I could probably put on there that I just haven't, but yeah.
Neither of us are Mr. 5,000 like Ian Nichols. But,
No. I don't know. I got kids. I ain't got time for that. Someday, maybe, right?
Yeah, maybe. Quintin, thanks for coming back to the show. 3 times is a charm. We'll get you on here one of these days with something. Who knows what the hell's going to come out, man? But that will get you back.
Yeah, no, I love being on here. It was so great to meet up and talk with Chad and you again. And it was great. Hopefully, maybe a Friday Fix episode with the year I graduated, which was relatively recently.
Far out. Al and I are always up for that. Oh, and Chad, I don't know how closely you've been monitoring our old friend Brad Elmore on Twitter these days. But a lot of talk of Bit 2.
Really?
I'd be him.
Way down with that.
Yeah. So
I need to do a rewatch, and this time I'll probably purchase it. I did rent it the first time. I believe I said that. I'll probably just go ahead and purchase it. Yeah. I wonder if he's going to have that available on DVD or Blu-ray or anything. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, physical media, maybe not, but you might be able to buy rights to the copy or whatever. Which I'd be willing to do for our friend Brad over there. But yeah, if Bit 2 does become a thing, we'll have to get back together here, guys, and talk about it. But that's down the road. So we'll get you back here, Quintin. Chad, definitely going to be back here soon. So thanks, guys, for coming on the show.
For sure.
Coming up in the feed soon, I believe episode 186 will be up sometime shortly after the release of this episode. We're going to be talking about the new Brandon Cronenberg film called Possessor, which just came out available for rent. So, yeah, that's coming up in the feed. And you never know. Flexmas in there somewhere. Maybe we'll do a best of 2020 show. I don't know. It'll probably be something different than normal because, God, even the Minister and Robert haven't seen more than 20 films this year. So who knows? Will the Oscars happen? I don't know. Who the hell knows? But stay safe, everybody out there. Mask it up. Let's get through this shit. For Chad and Quintin, this is Eric saying we will catch you on the flick side.